I do not want to be employed by anybody. I grew up believing that I should. I'm here to challenge the attitude that one should value themselves by how employable they are. My name is Dennis Iipumbu Noa. I'm currently a medical student. These are my parents. My dad was fortunate enough to receive funding to complete his tertiary education during apartheid. My mother also completed her tertiary education. My father studied law, and my mother education. Now, I was fortunate enough to have these people in my life because they have supported me in the pursuit of my studies. However, I realized one thing. They were employed. To get ahead, they had to go back to school, get more degrees in the hope of getting a promotion. And then I reflected on my life, and I realized that I might be falling into a similar trend of being employed, number one. For me to get ahead, I had to go back to school to get more degrees in the hopes of getting a promotion. Ladies and gentlemen, don't get me wrong. I'm for being educated. But why can't I be educated and still become self-employed? So in my second year of study, I started asking myself a simple question. What will happen to me after retirement? The second question, why do I need to retire if I love what I do? Will I be that person with so many degrees on the wall and was just a doctor? What have I identified in society that I can solve and still be self-sustainable? Will my life be filled with routine and schedules that I had very little contribution to? So this is what I had to go through. Primary education, secondary education, and then currently I'm in my tertiary education. However, why can't I be educated and still become self-employed? There is currently 29.6% unemployment rate. This was data obtained in 2013 from the Namibian Economist. I've identified 3 factors that lead to unemployment. Number 1, not having the necessary skills or qualification to be employed or to do a specific job. Number 2, not having sufficient jobs, even though you have skills or qualification to do that specific job. And the recent one that's upcoming is industry no longer needing you because your skills are being replaced by a gadget or a machine. I grew up believing that being a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer was the only way to ensure a successful and sustainable life. I believed in a limited number of career paths which will ensure that my life was safe and secure. Study hard to get a good job. Work hard and you'll get a good job. No one told me that I can become self-employed. I had so many talents, so many skills. I was creative. I had attained experience through my 20 years of living. But people disregarded all of this for the hope of a more secure and predictable way of life. I could have used my skills to tap into an unexplored means of sustaining myself. However, everyone just told me I had to get employed. A very few people, or a very limited number of people, have told me or have steered me into actually considering becoming self-employed. The youth is not made aware or even thought of the possibilities of becoming self-employed. The youth is usually modeled by their immediate environment. Our social environment has very limited people that have become self-employed. So, who do I learn from? Who mentors me? The very few that are present do not engage with the youth to teach them of the possibilities of becoming self-employed. So, ladies and gentlemen, start thinking of how to become self-employed, not just how to become an employee. Going back to my parents, they were very firm believers of becoming educated, but then at the very end, I had to work for someone. I realized that I did not get sufficient knowledge on how to become self-employed in the education. I was being modeled more into becoming the perfect employee. I was not being taught to think for myself, but rather I was merely reading other people's research, memorizing it, internalizing it, understanding it on how certain things came to be. I'm not given a platform to challenge what is unknown, but to merely accept everything for the way it is. I'm taught how to be obedient, to be systematic, and to follow routine. I'm not taught how to be a risk taker, but rather how to avoid risk. My intelligence and experience is limited by the mere symbols and numbers that I had attained in grade 12. And they have currently paved my current path. But that's not the case. I have the potential. Even though I did not get the education, I still have that potential to become self-employed. So right now, I believe that I have, ladies and gentlemen, I have the potential to become self-employed. I'm creative, I'm educated, I've got so many skills, and I can use this to identify a need in my community and become self-employed and self-sustainable. I do not have to work for someone to be considered successful. I can work for myself and still be considered successful. I'll leave you with this wonderful quote. Build your dreams, ladies and gentlemen, or someone else will hire you to build theirs. So with that, I thank you.